group together, that would be great. So the first one is June 10th after this one, and that is how to use runes for spirit communication. That one begins at 6:30 p.m. And in that class, we'll learn how to use runes for more than just readings. We'll explore ways to use runes to communicate with spirit. And there's many tools that we can use for this purpose. Runes are just one of them, but in this free masterclass, I'll help to uncover some of the ways that we can use them for more than just a basic reading. And then June 17th, we have Picking the Perfect Tool for Divination free masterclass at 6:30 p.m. You know, sometimes it can seem overwhelming knowing which divination tool to choose, or even knowing all of the choices available. So I'll be revealing various divination tools and specific times to use them to help serve your purpose. And June 17th is our last one. That is the Potion Makers Unite at 5 p.m. Do you love making potion? Is gathering the ingredients part of the magic, connecting with nature as you conjure up your next concoction? Maybe you were one of the kids who loved going into the forest or finding whatever nature you could around you, collecting leaves, twigs, little pebbles, and blending them into potions. Do you love pretty bottles? If this speaks to you, I'll be talking about some of my favorite mineral, plant, and mushroom allies and ways to connect with them in your potions. And I really intend for this to be forum style. So all potion makers are encouraged to reveal some of their favorite potions and results or deep connections that they've made with the allies, any secrets that they've discovered, basically anything that you feel like sharing with like minds who are actually interested. So we'd love to have you join us for any of those. Like I said, you can mark your calendars. I've actually been interested in anything metaphysical since I was a child, which was very taboo growing up in a Catholic family, especially for a child who went to a Catholic elementary school, literally being taught by nuns and wondering about tarot cards and astrology and every witchy thing you could imagine. But there really wasn't anyone around for me to talk about these things with or explore them with. So I kind of just kept it to myself, studying alone about everything metaphysical that I could get my hands on. And then years later, I had 4 beautiful daughters, and they actually paid one Mother's Day as a gift for me to go to a women's retreat. And at this women's retreat, the participants did all the cooking and cleaning for 12 women. And as a mother of 4, like I said, I just couldn't help but think, wouldn't it be cool if we had a retreat where the women didn't have to do any household chores? They just came and explored their spirituality with like minds, no cooking, no cleaning all weekend, just whatever like sparks your spirit and lights your fire and makes you feel like interested, not just cooking and cleaning. But for those who love cooking and cleaning, they're always welcome to help, of course, obviously. But it's just nice sometimes to have the time to be able to connect with like minds. And there's never any dull conversations at the retreat. That's, you know, one of the things in society that's kind of hard, trying to have a deep or spiritual, meaningful conversation with people. Sometimes you just end up talking about the weather or something. If you don't really vibe with them, ends up being really superficial conversations. At the retreat, we go super deep. That's one of my favorite things, is that no matter what any of the women brings up and wants to talk about, everyone jumps in and starts comparing notes and talking about what they heard about it and listening to what others have to offer. And it's just, everyone's all in, you know. Anyway, we'll talk more about them later. For now, I wanted to talk about you finding the best tarot spread for you in the moment, whether you're seeking spiritual advice, life guidance, or just having fun. How does that sound? Give me a thumbs up in the comments or some awesome. Okay. So there are numerous kinds of tarot spreads, ranging from simple to complex. And they vary widely in their layout, purpose, the number of cards used, the number of potential tarot spreads is really limitless. But today I wanted to outline 13 for you. Some of them will go into deeper detail and some of them will just skim over, and I'll let you go do your own research on them because of time constraints. Does that sound good? Okay, good. Awesome. So the single card spread would be, you know, if you were just looking for some quick insight or daily guidance, you would just, before I do any kind of spiritual guidance or metaphysical work or ritual work or anything like that, I always like to center myself, focus on my breathing for a little bit, welcome in the elements, starting with air, water, fire, and earth. And you kind of just imagine that you feel them in the circle as their presence, you know, joins you in the circle. And just ask for protection and for them to watch over you and offer any guidance that they may have as well. And then you could shuffle the cards. And if you have a specific question, you could be thinking about that question while you're shuffling the cards. If you just want a general reading, then you could just think about your life in general, things that have been going on with you while you're shuffling the cards. And it seems like a lot of times, welcome to the new people. And it seems like a lot of times you know when the cards are done and it's time to shuffle them. Then you can make the choice if you want to cut them or not. And when you cut them, you could either just, you know, split them in half and do that, or you could split them into two. So there'd be 3 different piles. So just see how you feel in the moment, how you want to do it. And then you would just pull your card. And if you ask the question, you can, you know, try to, before, if you're starting out and you're actually looking at a book for the interpretation, I would always recommend, before you look in the book, to just kind of look at the image, see if any of it jumps out to you, look at the number of the card. If you know anything about numerology, take that into consideration. And even if you don't know anything about the cards, all of this is still really important, just your impressions, because so much of anything metaphysical has to do with your intuition, right? So that's the main thing that you want to be doing, is tapping into your intuition. And if when you get the card, you look at it and right away you feel like it means this, and then you go look in a book and it says something really different, I would always go with your first instinct with what you interpreted the card as, because usually it's your reading, you know, and different cards can mean different things to different people and be interpreted in different ways, but it's your reading. So whatever those symbols mean to you is what I think you should go with. So does anyone have any questions about the single card spread before we move on to the next ones? Give me a thumbs up if you're ready to move on. Okay, good. So next would be the 3 card spread. And that spread, you would actually, it would be kind of like past, present, future. So any of these, you're going to do the same thing when you start out with welcoming in the elements. If you'd like, you could actually have so like a little sword, or like a little knife deck. Like I used to have a little really beautiful letter opener that was pewter, and it had like a mermaid on it with like gemstones. So you could use that to symbolize air. For water, you could literally have like a chalice with water in it. For fire, you could have a candle burning. And for earth, you could really have anything. You could have like a leaf from outside or a twig, or you could use a crystal, you know. And if you want to like be ritualistic about it, you could like bring those into your circle. And as you are focusing on bringing in the elements, you know, hold each one and imagine that you're welcoming that element into the circle. So the 3 card spread is a versatile spread that's often used for past, present, future, like I said, but it can also represent triplets like mind, body, spirit, or situation, action, outcome. So those are 3 other ways, 3 ways that you could actually use the 3 card spread for more than just past, present, and future. Does anyone have any questions about that before we move on? You have a question?
I don't, but I had I had a pull on that 3 card in terms of relationships, you know.
Awesome. Yeah, that's another good way
So
to do it.
I think it's the most versatile. I think it's the most versatile spread
Mhm.
at all of all, you know. You can
Yeah,
use it a zillion different ways.
exactly. And it's so quick. If you just like want to find something out super quick and you don't have a lot of time to go deep, it's like super easy and you get different angles and aspects. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'll post that one in the chat.
Okay, great. Thanks. And then there's the Celtic cross spread. That's one of the most typical ones, one of the most popular, and you've probably seen that in a lot of movies. It's typically using 10 cards to provide a comprehensive overview of a situation. And each of the 10 cards has a specific position and meaning, contributing to a comprehensive overview of the querent's question or situation. It's usually one of the most detailed and versatile, offering a deep and multifaceted look into the querent's life and circumstances. Querent is the person who is getting the reading, who's asking the question. It's like I said, it's one of the most popular ones. And so I'm not going to focus too much on that one because I feel like that one is one that many people know about. And I really, because of time constraints, wanted to talk about ones that you might not have heard of before. So the next one is the 5-card spread. And that's often used for detailed insights on a specific question or possible 5-card spread in the career path, useful for exploring career opportunities and decisions. And this would be situated in the shape of a V. And the first card would represent your current job if you were doing the career path one. So we'll just write that down. So the first is so this would be a 5-card. And the first one would be your current job. And I like to use different colored markers because it activates different parts of your brain. I'm just going to move this down so you can see it a little better. And then number 2 represents any challenges or obstacles. And then number 3 will be potential opportunities or new directions. And I'm just going to write up here for a career path reading. Everyone see that good? Okay, good. The 4th card represents your strengths and skills. And then the 5th card represents the likely outcome or your next steps. And remember, any reading that you get, any outcome that it gives you is all subject to your attitude, your actions. Nothing's written in stone. So if you ever get an outcome that you don't feel comfortable with, you can change it. That's just saying if things keep going in this direction, what you might expect. But we are the masters of our life and we can change anything we want to, right? Okay, good. So the 7 card or horseshoe spread, this one offers insights into past influences, present circumstances, and potential future outcomes. So for the horseshoe one, it's actually done in the shape of a horseshoe. And okay, let's just write horseshoe. And the first one represents the past. The second one represents the present. Everyone see that good? Okay. The third one represents your future. The fifth one, or the fourth one, represents your hopes and fears. The fifth one represents external factors that may be affecting the situation. Use blue for that one. External factors. And the sixth one is advice or guidance. And then the seventh one will be your likely outcome.
Sounds like it. This kind of sounds like that Celtic cross.
It does kind of, yes.
So why would you pick this versus that one? The
Well,
cross.
the Celtic cross has 10 cards. This one's only
Right.
7. So it's, I think a lot of times has to do with personal preference. You know, if it's you're
Okay.
someone who's used the Celtic cross for years, you just might be ready for a change. Just try something new for fun. Does anyone have any questions on that one before we move on? Nope. Okay. The sixth one would be the year
I
ahead.
did have a question.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry
No,
about
that's okay. I was just wondering, like, if you were going to use this horseshoe,
okay.
like, you know, what type of situations, or, like maybe your 3 card is your go-to in this situation. Your 5 card is a go-to in this situation. I always use the horseshoe for these kinds of situations or questions, or maybe I use it to delve more into something, or do you know what I mean?
Yep, you could use it for past influences if you wanted to see what's been influencing you in the past. You could do it for like present circumstances to see what's going on in your current situation. Or you could do it to see about potential future outcomes and see what might be coming in, what you can expect in the future. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Okay, good.
it does. I use a 7 card for options spread. I have
nice.
one at the top that's a central theme. And then let's say maybe I have 2 options. And then I'll do 3 cards for one and 3 cards for the other. And if it isn't even explained enough, maybe I pull one more at the end. But
That sounds great.
In a different way. Yeah.
It's fun to hear how people use it the different ways, you know? Sometimes someone might mention a way that you never thought of. So if anyone else wants to offer any insight into what kind of readings you like to do, we would love to hear that as well. Okay, the year ahead spread is the 6th one. And that usually involves 12 cards, one for each month of the upcoming year. Like you might do that at the beginning of the year, or like on your birthday, or an anniversary, some kind of significant event for you that seems like it's a beginning of something or a cornerstone. or a milestone. Like if you just started your new business or something like that, you could do a year ahead spread to see what you could expect for the month, for the year ahead. It could provide a monthly forecast. You would do it in a circle and just have one card for each year representing each month. You could do an astrological spread, which would be very similar to the year ahead spread, only this one would have to do with the 12 cards representing each house in an astrological birth chart. And it could give insight into different areas of your life. You know how, like the different houses each represent different things. Like 4 is the house of family. And I actually have done on the Wildflower Woo Woo show that I host on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. We've actually talked about that. So if that's something you want to learn more about, you could go on our Women's Empowerment and Spiritual Awakening Retreats page and go catch that episode. So we won't focus too much on it today, but it tells you all about the different houses, what they represent. And we actually broke down the birth chart, all the different aspects of it and everything. And we also have at the retreats, some of the retreats, each of them have different aspects or, workshops or readings that are included in it. And the one of the workshops that we have in August, actually, there'll be an astrologer there, and that retreat includes birth reading, your birth chart reading, and then there's all these other workshops about your rising sign, your sun sign, your moon sign, and which houses that your planets are in, which plays a lot and has a lot to do with your personality and various characteristics of yourself. And actually, we had a mother-daughter retreat. And at the mother-daughter retreat, the astrologer was comparing the mother and daughter's charts, just telling them different aspects of themselves and ways that they might relate to each other. And the astrologer said to the daughter, see, so you're someone who actually needs to process information, who's non-confrontational, who would actually need to take a moment before they were ready to face a confrontation. Like, you're not someone who meets confrontations head on, like you're someone who needs to retreat. And the little girl looked at her mom and was like, see, I told you. And the mom like almost started crying and was like, I'm sorry, I didn't know. And it turns out the little girl was 11. And it turned out that whenever they have a conflict, the mother is always like, we're dealing with this now. And the daughter wants to go into her room and just like retreat for a minute and just gather herself so that she's ready to meet the confrontation. But she's not ready until she's able to have like been able to withdraw a little bit, center herself, and then she can come back to it. So that gave me the idea that we should really have like a whole retreat that's based on discovering these aspects of yourself, because things that people say are your shortcomings or, you're stubborn or something like that. It's not, these are characteristics and they're traits of yours that actually help you throughout your life with things that you're going to have to deal with because of your life's purpose, so they're not shortcomings. These are your traits. And I believe that finding more out about your chart actually is a way to empower others. And that's what our retreats are all about, is empowering others, right? So I like to do that at the retreats. Okay, so getting back. Tetrachite's spread is based on Pythagorean numerology. This 10-card spread explores elemental forces and spiritual development. This one we're not going to spend too much time on, but it actually looks like a pyramid. And so that's one, if that interests you, you can do some research on that one. And I'll just spell that for you. So it's sorry about that. My tree's getting in the way. So it's tetra. These other letters you don't see often together. K And that is 10 cards. And it has to do with Pythagorean numerology. So if you want to look more into that one, that's one you can look out. The next one would be the number 10 is the decision-making spread. And this I thought was a good one to go over because we all come to, right, decision-making points or forks in the road. And this is a great one if you have two options and you just can't decide. So this is decision-making. And so you're going to, I'm just going to do all these in black because I feel like you'll be able to see it better. So you're going to do 5. That's your advice card. So this could either be a 3 or 5 card layout. I'm going to show you the 5 card layout. So there's your advice. Here you have choice A. And you have card 1, card 2, and 1 is the pros, 2 is the cons. You see that? Okay. And then you have choice B. You have 2 cards, 3 and 4, and 3 will be your pros, and 4 will be your cons. So that's a good one if you are just like can't figure out what the next step would be if you're trying to make a life choice or decision, something like that. Anyone have any questions on that before we move on?
Did you say that was a 5 card?
Yep, this one would be 5, but you could do 3 card one too if you wanted, but I really like the 5 because it gives you the pros and cons for
What
each.
was the 5th card?
The 5th one is advice.
Oh, gotcha.
Your advice will be on the top, and then you'll have your 2 choices below it. And the advice card, didn't draw that one for you, sorry. Number 5 is your advice
Thank you.
card. Yeah, definitely. That was a good question, Elisa. Okay. Okay, so number 11 would be the chakra spread. And that one uses 7 cards to provide insight into the state of each chakra. So sometimes if you're someone who's been experiencing illness, physical disturbances, and like you've tried everything and just nothing's working, sometimes it could be a chakra imbalance. So that's what really needs to be dealt with in order to bring that state of balance back, whereas you might be trying other things when that's not what's needed. Yes, I will give you the recording afterwards. Yes, Quiana. But hopefully I'm saying your name right. Yes, good. Awesome. Glad you like that. Yes, I'll be including the recording. I'll send it out to everyone after. Okay, so the chakra one. Anyone have any questions on this before I turn it? Okay. So the chakra spread you will start with the root. Okay, so you're going to start down here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's how you'll do that one. And you could either think about your life, how you've been feeling, if you've been experiencing any emotional distress or physical disturbances, and you could just turn over 1 card at a time and be like, okay, this is the root chakra, and then just focus on that and, you know, interpret that one. Or you could just do all 7, lay them out, turn them all over, and just get a picture that way. It's up to you. Whichever resonates with you, you know, there's never a right or wrong way. It's whichever one resonates with you, and you might change it at times. You might be like, this day it felt like this, and now this time you definitely feel like you're supposed to do it this way. Like I said, always following your intuition is what you should do. And don't listen to me. If I'd say something that doesn't feel right to you, then don't do that. Do what feels right to you. It's all, anything metaphysical is all about you connecting with the divine, the universe, God, Allah, Buddha, the goddess, whoever you believe in, and your soul, you know, and just kind of connecting with spirit. So it's not my spirit, it's your spirit that you need to connect with. So do whatever feels right to you. Okay, a karma spread. This one typically involves 7 to 10 cards. And it's to explore karmic influences and past life connections. So that one, let's see, we'll use green for this one. So the karma spread. I usually have a light on, but I thought it was going to be bright enough today. I'm sorry if it's hard to see. I could put the light on, but it might take a minute. Okay, so this is typically 7 to 10 cards. I'm going to use a darker one so that you can see better. And it goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then with blue, 10 and 11 down here. And like I said, that one can help you explore any karmic influences or past life connections. And then number 13, the mirror spread.
Can I ask a question? I'm
Sure.
sorry.
Please. No, you're good.
Michelle, on the karma spread, you have 3 rows, right? And so what does each, like, what is 1, 2, and 3, or 4, 5, 6, or 7, 8, 9?
So
What do
that'll
those
be,
groups represent? Or
that will be one that you'll have to research on your own. I gave you the spreads, but you'll have to go through all the specifics of it just because of time.
okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good. Please don't be sorry. And then the mirror
Shit,
spread.
I couldn't. Excuse me.
Okay. And then the mirror spread, this one is used for self-reflection and exploring internal versus external influences. Usually involves 2 vertical rows next to each other. And that'll be another one that you can research for yourself. And I wanted to tell you a little more about our retreat that's coming up June 28th through the 30th. That one is the Awakening, Women's Empowerment and Spiritual Awakening Retreat. There's still spaces available. And if you are someone who signs up from one of the free masterclasses, we're having the next 5 signups from the masterclasses actually will receive your readings at the retreat. So these are all-inclusive retreats. You pay one price, and it includes all the lodging, an aura photo, a massage, a tarot reading, sound baths, meditation, breath work, workshops, chakra cleansing, crystal gridding, sacred circles. we have an evidential medium that's going to be there that will be doing spirit guided portraiture, which is so she will not only communicate with your loved one or spirit guide, but then she can draw a picture of them for you. So for people who are skeptical, they're like, how do you really know if they're talking to your grandmother or not? She will draw a picture of them for you, so you'll know who she's talking to. And she's amazing. She's literally one of the most fascinating people that I've ever met. So she'll be there offering that. This is lakeside lodging overlooking Lake Magog. It's very serene and private. We have all this area to ourselves overlooking the lake. There's beautiful sunsets, amazing moonrises, and great conversation with lake minds. All the meals are included. And then you'll actually also receive an activation spiritual toolkit. So yours won't be decorated like mine. I'm kind of childlike, so I like to decorate mine like a child, which we have stickers. And if you are like me, you can decorate the heck out of yours too. But if you just want yours to be plain, you could do that. So this comes with it as well. It's a caboodle. You open it up and it comes with a deck of tarot cards, a silk to wrap them in, a crystal, a smudge stick, a rune set, a set of runes. Yours are a little different. They come in a different bag, palm stone. And then it has a pendulum that you will make from, I'm just going to put this down for a minute so I can show you the pendulums. So the pendulums we're making out of semi-precious gemstones of your choice, and we'll all do it together. It's very fun. This is one that I made. It's amethyst, and then I like to use a bunch of different gemstones so that I'm utilizing all the different properties. But if you just wanted to make it amethyst or something, you know, we have choices for you. And then it also comes with a spell kit. And the spell kit has a candle in it so that you can inscribe your intention on it, and some spell oil that you can rub on there and burn it down with your intention. And then a little tumbled stone that's specific to your spell kit, and a little spell jar that you'll also make at the retreat. And we're having a 20% off sale, so you can enjoy 20% off right now. Sign up today to reserve your space. There's still a few spaces available. You could go to naturesmysteries.com to reserve your space today. We'd love to have you join us. It's very exciting for me to have any of my students from my master classes join the retreats, because it's always fun having you in class, and then getting to continue that connection is awesome. That's one of the funnest parts of the retreats, is continuing that connection with like minds. I don't know if you guys can see out my window. It's kind of a lot more trees than people. So I live in a place where there's not a lot of like-minded people. So it's really fun to gather together a group of like-minded women, and never underestimate the magic that commences when a group of women gather. We've had some really amazing experiences. We have fires at night and workshops in the daytime, meditation. Like I said, sound baths. I don't know if you've ever had a sound bath, but they're absolutely amazing. And like I said, we'd love to have you join us. So go to naturesmysteries.com, reserve your space. Spaces are limited. And like I said, we would absolutely love to have you join us. I'll be sending out the recording, so you can keep your eye open for that. And you can follow us on Women's Empowerment and Spiritual Awakening Retreats Facebook page, and that will give you updates for our events. If you want to follow us on Instagram, it's Vermont Women Empowerment Retreats. And if anybody doesn't have any other questions, that's about all I had.
You said it was Vermont?
Yes, it's in
Okay.
Lake, it's overlooking Lake Memphremagog in the Northeast Kingdom of Vermont.
Okay.
Very
Very
beautiful. Yeah. And there's 4 cottages overlooking the lake. And 2 of the cottages are for participants. One of the cottages is the common area. So it's like a big open room with like lots of floor pillows and a metaphysical library and Buddhas and salt lamps. And it's a place where if we can't go outside and do the workshops and yoga and meditation, we have that nice area inside that's dry. And then the last cottage is where the facilitators stay. And that's where all the cooking classes are and all the meals. And, well, I mean, we try to eat outside, but that's where the meals are prepared and the cooking classes. And for folks who like to stay up late, they can hang out in the facilitator's cabin. We tend to stay up late. And then the folks who like to go to bed earlier have the cottages that they can go. The early birds can go to bed and rest easy. We're like so far away from each other. That's what I mean. It's, if you go look on the event page, it's really beautiful. There's big trees and the trees are like the leaves just rustle in the wind. And we see eagles flying over all the time. It's it's like a really magical place.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah. We'd love to have you join us. And like I said, the next 5 people who sign up from the master classes will receive your readings and all that, the aura photo, all of that at the retreat. So if you're not one of the 5 people, then you will still receive all those things that I mentioned, but you might have to do it through a Zoom meeting after the retreat because the facilitators can only do so many people at the retreat. You know what I mean? So just take that into consideration. Okay, does anyone else have any other questions? Okay, great. Well, I'll look forward to seeing you at one of the next master classes or at the retreat at the end of the month.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye.